All right. Welcome, everyone, to HeartSutra, a place where we like to dive deep into spirituality and self-love and positive affirmations.
And really explore how we can transform our lives using ancient wisdom.
Exactly.
You got it.
That's what we're all about.
So to kick off our very first Heart Sutra series,
Oh, exciting.
I know, we're going to be decoding famous books chapter by chapter, and today we're going to start with
Right.
the Bhagavad Gita.
Perfect. There's really no better place to start, I think.
Yeah.
It's one of the most important Hindu scriptures.
It really is.
And, it guides us on the paths of dharma, karma, and moksha.
Right. Duty, action, and liberation. Some pretty big concepts.
They are big.
We're going to break it all down for everybody today, and we're going to specifically look at chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita.
Okay, love it.
Now, even if you're already familiar with the Gita,
Yeah.
we're going to unearth some surprising insights and see how this ancient text speaks directly to your life.
I love that.
Today, I think that's so important,
For sure.
because it's one thing to understand it academically,
Yeah.
but it's another to really apply it to
Exactly.
your everyday life.
Yeah, so chapter 1 sets a pretty dramatic scene
It does.
on the battlefield of Kurukshetra,
Right.
where these two sets of cousins,
Oh, yeah.
the Pandavas and the Kauravas,
Yep.
are about to clash in this devastating war for their kingdom.
It's a battle for the kingdom.
Talk about a family feud. Or,
Oh, I know.
but it's interesting how this external conflict kind of mirrors
Right.
those internal battles that we all face, right?
For sure.
We all have our own Kurukshetra going on.
Absolutely, yes. Our own internal battles.
Yeah, so the chapter opens with blind King Dhritarashtra, father of the Kauravas.
Okay.
And he's super anxious about the war, as you can imagine.
Oh, yeah. Understandably.
So he asks his advisor, Sanjaya,
Right.
for an update.
To give him the scoop.
Right, like what's happening. And this is where it gets kind of interesting, because Sanjaya actually has this divine gift
Ooh, a divine gift.
where he can see and narrate the events of the war
Wow.
unfolding miles away.
No way. So he's like our eyes on the scene.
Exactly. He's like her live play-by-play commentator.
Love it.
So he's not just reporting, he's giving us like the live action.
Awesome. So what does he see? What's happening?
So he sees these two armies assembled, just a spectacle of warriors
Oh, wow.
on both sides.
Yeah.
We got Bhishma, Drona, Karna
Right.
on the Kaurava side.
Okay.
And then, of course, you got the 5 Pandava brothers with
Yeah.
Arjuna like at the
Yeah.
front and center.
Leading the charge.
Right. And the text describes this crazy cacophony
Okay.
of conch shells being blown,
Oh, wow.
almost like a declaration of war.
Right. Right.
So I'm wondering, what is the significance of that? Is it just like a dramatic effect?
I don't think so,
Yeah.
In the Bhagavad Gita, every detail is so symbolic, and I think the conch shells actually represent the warriors' individual identities
Oh, interesting.
and their readiness for battle.
Okay.
So each one's unique,
Okay.
but there are two in particular that I think are worth noting.
Okay.
Krishna's Panchajanya and Arjuna's Devadatta.
Okay. So why are those two so important?
Well, think about it. I mean, the Divine has, entered the battlefield at this point.
Oh, wow.
Krishna, the embodiment of God, is Arjuna's charioteer.
Right.
And so their conches really symbolize this, higher force that's at play.
Okay.
A clash that kind of transcends the earthly conflict.
Wow. So it's like
It's bigger than just this war.
it's setting us up for something bigger.
It is. It is.
Okay.
And, it's interesting to think about where you sense a greater force at work
In your own life.
in your own life. Yeah.
That's a great question. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the scene set. The armies are like ready to go.
Right.
But then something unexpected happens.
That's that.
Arjuna, this like legendary warrior, he hesitates.
Oh, wow. He hesitates.
Yeah.
That's not good.
He's like, wait a second.
Yeah.
I don't know about this.
So what's going on? Why is he hesitating?
Well, he's looking across the battlefield and he sees his own relatives
Oh.
on the other side.
Oh, so he's got to fight his own family.
Yeah.
Oof, that's rough.
And he's overcome with this like deep despair.
Yeah.
And this isn't just like fear of battle. This is a
Mhm.
profound moral crisis that he's going through.
Right. So it's way deeper than just being afraid to fight.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like his whole being is rejecting this idea of fighting, even for a kingdom.
Wow, that's intense.
It is.
So what does he say? Does he actually say anything about this?
Yeah. Well, he even says this. He says, I can find no means to drive away this grief, which is drying up my senses.
Wow. He's really in the depths of despair.
He is, yeah.
Okay, so clearly this is a big deal for him.
It is.
But why such a strong reaction? I mean, is this normal?
Well, you know, Arjuna's dilemma, it kind of gets to the heart of Dharma.
Okay.
He's questioning the very nature of duty.
Oh, wow.
Deep stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's asking, like, is it always clear-cut?
Right.
What happens when your duty, like, conflicts with your compassion?
Yeah.
Or your sense of, like, right and wrong?
Right. Those are really tough questions.
And this is, like, a dilemma that I think we all face in different ways.
I think so, too.
And it's why this chapter is just so powerful.
Yeah, it's very relatable.
Yeah.
Even though it's set on a battlefield.
So it's not just about Arjuna, like, being a warrior.
Right.
It's about how we as humans grapple with tough choices, where there's, like, no easy answer.
Totally.
Right.
I'm curious, though, is there something more to Arjuna's compassion?
Well, what's interesting is that Arjuna's compassion is rooted in, like, material attachments.
Okay.
He's super focused on the potential loss of his relatives, like on the physical consequences.
So it's more about the earthly loss than
Yeah.
spiritual understanding.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
and this is where I think the need for, like, guidance or, like, a spiritual perspective becomes so crucial.
Yeah, he needs some wisdom.
He does. He does.
So where does he go from here?
Well, that's where Krishna comes in.
Oh, Krishna.
Right. He's not just Arjuna's charioteer. He's also his teacher, his guide.
Right, the embodiment of God.
Exactly.
Okay.
So Arjuna's despair kind of sets the stage for Krishna's teachings, which will unfold
I see.
throughout the rest of the Bhagavad Gita.
So we're just getting started.
We're just getting started.
This is good.
Yeah.
This is really good.
So this chapter isn't just, like, setting the scene for, like, a war.
Right.
It's setting the stage for a much deeper exploration of Dharma and how we navigate our duty in this, like, complex world.
So it's like a microcosm of our own lives.
Exactly. Exactly.
We all have our own battles to fight, our own dilemmas to
Dilemma.
work through.
And we all need our own Krishna, right?
I think so, yes. That inner guide, that wisdom.
Okay, well, that's a great point to pause.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely pick up with this conversation next time.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Me too.
You know, the Bhagavad Gita, it doesn't shy away from complexity at all.
No, it doesn't.
And I think Arjuna's dilemma is just so timeless.
Yeah.
It really reflects, you know, these challenging choices that we all make.
For sure.
Like, how do we stay true to our values when faced with difficult situations?
Yeah.
And how do we balance our desires with our responsibilities? You know, those kinds of things.
It's really reassuring to know that even Arjuna,
Right.
this, like, epic hero, struggles with these very human questions.
Absolutely.
But it makes me think,
Yeah.
how does Krishna actually help him out of this, like,
Right.
spiral of despair?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, at the heart of Krishna's teachings is this understanding
Okay.
of the true nature of the self,
Okay.
the, like, distinction between the body and the soul.
Okay.
And remember, Arjuna is totally fixated on the potential death of his relatives,
Right.
on the physical loss.
He's overwhelmed by grief.
Exactly.
Focused on, like, the material consequences.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And Krishna, being the wise teacher that he is, you know, he starts to dismantle this limited view.
Yeah.
He explains that the soul is eternal.
Okay.
It can't be killed or destroyed.
Wow.
It simply transmigrates from one body to another, much like we change clothes.
So Krishna's saying that, like, death as we perceive it isn't really the end.
It's not the end, no.
It's more of a transition.
Exactly. It's more of a transition.
Wow.
And, you know, this understanding is key to overcoming grief and fear.
Okay.
Because when you realize the eternal nature of the soul,
Yeah.
the loss of the physical body, it loses its sting.
Right.
You know, it's just the natural part of a cycle.
That's a lot to process, but it really makes you think about death in a different light,
It does.
you know? Maybe it's not something to be feared, but like a doorway to something else.
I love that. Yeah, like a doorway.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of the Bhagavad Gita. It, like, challenges our assumptions.
Yeah.
And opens us up to new ways of seeing the world.
For sure, yeah.
And this understanding of the soul's immortality, that's just the beginning.
Oh, wow.
You know, Krishna goes on to explain the different paths to liberation,
Okay.
the importance of selfless action,
Okay.
and the power of surrendering to the divine will.
So it's not just about withdrawing from the world and, like, meditating.
No, not at all.
There's, like, an active element to it as well.
There is, yeah.
What does that look like?
Well, you know, Krishna emphasizes karma yoga, the path of action.
Okay.
It's about performing your duties
Okay.
without attachment to the results.
So like acting selflessly,
Exactly.
doing what's right because it's right,
Yes.
not because you're expecting rewards or recognition.
That's it. That's it.
That sounds really challenging
It can be. It can be.
because, we're all conditioned to want things
We are. Yeah.
and to strive for outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we actually detach from that desire?
Well, it's definitely a practice. It's
Yeah.
not a switch that you can just like flip overnight.
Right.
But the Gita provides tools and techniques
Okay.
to gradually detach
Yeah.
from those desires and cultivate a sense of inner peace and fulfillment.
So it requires us to like shift our focus
It does. It does.
from like external validation to internal alignment.
That's it. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm starting to understand why this book has resonated for centuries.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a roadmap to living a meaningful and purposeful life,
It is.
even amidst like all the chaos.
Absolutely.
But how do we know like what our right actions are?
That's a great question.
Like how do we navigate the complexity of the world and make choices that align with this idea of dharma?
Right. So that's where I think understanding the modes of material nature comes in.
Okay.
Krishna explains that goodness, passion, and ignorance are forces that influence our thoughts,
Okay.
our actions, and ultimately our destiny.
So it's like understanding like the underlying energies
Yes.
that shape our behavior.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And by recognizing, the qualities associated with each mode,
Yeah.
we can become more aware of our own tendencies.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right. So, for example, actions driven by passion
Okay.
might lead to like temporary satisfaction,
Okay.
but ultimately create more chaos and suffering.
Oh.
Whereas actions rooted in goodness, like wisdom, self-control, and compassion,
Okay.
those lead to lasting fulfillment.
So by understanding these modes,
Yeah,
we can like make more conscious choices
exactly.
that lead us towards greater happiness and fulfillment
Mm-hmm.
and
Mhm.
ultimately closer to liberation.
Yes, exactly. It's about aligning ourselves
Right,
with
yeah.
higher principles.
Okay.
But it's not just about individual liberation.
Right.
Remember, Krishna emphasizes selfless action.
Right.
Our actions, they ripple outwards. They impact the world around us.
Yeah.
By choosing goodness,
Mm-hmm.
we contribute to a more harmonious and balanced world.
That's a powerful thought.
It is.
Yeah.
It's really profound.
It connects our individual journeys to like a larger purpose.
Yeah.
Like we're not just isolated beings striving for our own liberation.
Right.
Our actions impact the collective.
Precisely. That's huge. The Bhagavad Gita reminds us that
Mhm.
we're all interconnected. We are part of this like vast web of life.
Yeah.
And our choices, that they really matter.
I'm seeing how this ancient text, it really speaks to the challenges we face today.
Yeah, me too.
It's like a blueprint for navigating the complexities of life, both individually
Mm-hmm.
and collectively.
For sure. Yeah.
But, all this talk about selfless action makes me wonder,
Yeah.
like, what does that actually look like in everyday life?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Well, think of someone who dedicates their time to volunteering at a homeless shelter,
Okay.
not for recognition or personal gain,
Right.
but out of a genuine desire to help others.
Right. So it's about the intention behind it.
It's all about the intention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a doctor
Right.
who treats their patients with compassion and care,
Mm-hmm.
going beyond the call of duty
Yeah.
to alleviate suffering.
So it's like bringing that intention of selfless service to everything we do.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's our work, our relationships,
Mhm.
or simply how we interact with the world around us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about shifting our focus from what's in it for me to how can I serve.
I like that.
It's about recognizing the interconnectedness
Mhm.
of all beings
Yeah.
and acting in a way that benefits the whole.
That's beautiful.
It is, yeah.
This is all so insightful, but I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier,
Okay.
this idea of surrender.
Yes,
It's a concept that comes up a lot in spiritual traditions,
it does.
but it can be like really hard to grasp.
It can be. It's definitely a challenging concept.
Yeah, what does it actually mean?
Yeah. Well, surrender isn't about weakness or giving up.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that there's a force at play in the universe
Mm.
that's far greater than our individual egos.
Yeah.
It's about aligning ourselves with that force,
Right.
with the flow of life,
Yeah.
and trusting that there's a divine plan unfolding,
I-
even if we can't see it in the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can you give me an example of like what surrender might look like in like a practical sense.
Yeah, so imagine you're facing a major decision in your life.
Okay.
Instead of agonizing over every detail and
Right.
trying to control the outcome,
Yeah.
you take a step back,
Okay.
you quiet your mind,
Okay.
you connect with your inner self,
Okay.
and you ask for guidance.
Mm-hmm.
You surrender the need to control,
Okay.
and you trust that the right path will be revealed.
That really resonates with me.
Yeah.
I've experienced moments like that.
Yeah.
Where I've been struggling with a problem and then I finally like let go,
Right.
and then a solution seems to appear like effortlessly.
That's the power of surrender, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's not about giving up our responsibility or free will.
Yeah.
It's about acknowledging our limitations and opening ourselves up to a higher source of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
It's about trusting the process and allowing the universe to guide us.
I'm starting to understand how surrender can be a source of like strength and clarity,
Absolutely.
not weakness.
Yes, it's empowering.
Yeah.
It's not about giving up.
Yeah.
It's about like tapping into something bigger.
And it ties into this idea of connecting with our inner selves.
Yes.
Like with that like divine spark
exactly.
within each of us.
It's within us all.
Yeah. Okay, so through that inner connection, we can discover our true dharma.
Yes.
Our unique purpose.
Our unique purpose, our unique path.
Wow, okay. I'm
Well,
excited to see where Arjuna's journey takes us next.
Me too. It's about to get really interesting.
So we've been talking about dharma and karma and even like the eternal nature of the soul.
Right. Some pretty deep stuff.
It is deep stuff.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, after all this talk about surrender and trusting like a greater force, I'm super curious to know where Arjuna's journey takes us next.
Well, you're in for a treat because in the following chapters, Krishna actually reveals his divine form to Arjuna.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on. He shapeshifts into like a cosmic being?
He does. He shows him this like awe-inspiring power and majesty of the universe.
Okay, now you've really got me hooked.
It's pretty amazing.
What is the purpose of such a dramatic reveal?
Well, it's a pivotal moment, I think, and it speaks to the very essence of surrender.
Okay.
You know, Krishna's cosmic form, it's not just a visual spectacle, it's a profound teaching.
Okay.
He's showing Arjuna, and I think by extension us, the futility of resisting the divine will, you know, imagine witnessing like the infinite expanse of the universe, the interconnectedness of all things. It really puts our individual struggles and desires into perspective, wouldn't you say?
Realizing that you're just this tiny speck.
Right.
In this vast, like, magnificent tapestry.
Exactly.
Yeah, suddenly your problems, even the big ones, seem much smaller.
They do, they do.
But how does this, like, actually help Arjuna make a decision about the war?
Well, remember, Arjuna's grappling with this idea of fighting against his own family.
Right, right.
He's clinging to his limited human perspective, to his emotional attachments. And so by revealing his divine form, Krishna is showing him that there's this, like, much bigger picture at play.
Okay.
Like this cosmic dance of creation and destruction.
Wow.
That transcends our individual lives.
So it's not about just, like, passively accepting whatever happens.
Right, right.
It's about recognizing that there's, like, a greater force at work.
Exactly. There's this divine intelligence that's orchestrating the universe.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
And surrendering to that force doesn't mean giving up your agency.
Right. Okay.
It's about aligning your actions with the divine will, trusting that even amidst chaos and uncertainty, there's a purpose unfolding.
This is really making me reevaluate my own, like, approach to life.
Really?
Yeah, it's like everything suddenly seems interconnected.
It is. It is.
And there's this deeper meaning behind everything that happens.
That's the beauty of the Bhagavad Gita, I think. It helps us connect the dots, you know?
Yeah.
See the bigger picture.
Yeah.
It reminds us that we're not just these isolated individuals. We're like integral threads in the fabric of the universe.
Stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And that brings us back to, like, the ultimate goal, right?
Yes.
Liberation from the cycle of birth and death.
Exactly.
But how do we actually achieve that?
That is the million-dollar question.
It is. It is.
Well, Krishna actually outlines several paths to liberation.
Okay.
Including karma yoga, which we talked about.
Yep.
The path of selfless action.
Right.
Vrana yoga, the path of knowledge.
Okay.
And bhakti yoga, the path of devotion.
So there's no single right path.
I don't think so, no.
It's more about finding the approach that, like, resonates.
Yeah, finding what works for you.
With our individual nature and temperament.
Absolutely, yeah. The key is to find a path that helps you connect with your inner self.
Oh.
With that, like, divine spark.
Yeah.
That's within you. And ultimately, I believe all paths lead to the same destination.
Which is?
Union with the divine.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
We've covered so much today. And honestly, I feel like I've only scratched the surface.
Yeah, me too.
Of this ancient text.
It's so rich.
It is.
There's so much to explore.
But what I'm taking away is this. The Bhagavad Gita, it's more than just a philosophical treatise. It's like a practical guide to navigating the challenges of life.
It is.
A source of wisdom and inspiration that can help us find peace, purpose, and ultimately liberation.
Beautifully said. I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's a journey that we don't have to take alone.
Not at all. There are so many resources available, from translations and commentaries to online communities and study groups.
Yeah, that's true.
So don't be afraid to dive in and explore.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and if you're feeling inspired to embark on your own exploration of the Bhagavad Gita, we encourage you to do so.
Absolutely, yeah. And remember, this journey of self-discovery, it's ongoing.
It is. It is.
We're all constantly learning and growing and evolving.
Absolutely, yeah.
We'll be back next time with another deep dive into the world of spirituality and personal growth.
Yes, we will.
But until then,
yeah,
may you find peace, clarity, and purpose.
Yes.
On your own unique journey.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
And don't forget to subscribe to the HeartSutra channel.
Yeah, subscribe.
For more inspiring content. We're excited to continue this journey of exploration with you.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.